Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aisha Zayyana and my name is 33250026. So I'm gonna give you a presentation for my pre-intermediate grammar project. And for the first one, we have degree of comparison. Degrees of comparison is an English grammar point we refer to when we are comparing one object with others. When we use degrees of comparison, we generally change the form of adjectives or adverbs we use to describe things or activities according to a certain comparison level, hence the name. There are three degrees of comparison, which are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. The first one is positive degree. Positive degree is what you use when you're describing an equal state between two objects. You can use the phrase as in a sentence to signify a positive degree. For example, number one is I want to look as beautiful as my mother. Number two, you should practice football as often as you can. Number three, Jace looks as handsome as Luke. This source is from the case of comparison, definition, examples, and how to use them. And we got comparative degree. This degree is used to compare two objects in one sentence using an adjective. We usually either add the suffix er or ier to the adjective or the word more before it to signify a comparison degree. We can also use a comparative degree to compare two activities with an adverb. We usually add the word more before the adverb. For example, number one is the road is more slippery than you think. Number two, learning Indonesian is easier than learning English. Number three, my bag is cheaper than yours. Number four, this hotel is more comfortable than the old one. And for number three is superlative degree. Superlative means the most. This degree is used to show which one among three or more objects has the most quality. To signify a superlative degree, we usually either add the suffix is to the adjective or add the most before it. For example, number one is Simon is the laziest student in my school. Number two, among the three footballers, Egon is the shortest. Number three, is the smallest room. Number four, history is the most interesting subject. And this is for original sentence from degrees of comparison. Number one, for positive degree, there are sentences the library is quiet, and we can analyze it. Structure are subject plus verb plus adjective. Meaning are the sentence only describes the library, no comparison is made. Number two, comparative degree. The sentence of Helena is taller than Egon. We can analyze it too. Structure are subject plus verb plus comparative adjective plus then plus object, meaning the sentence compares the height of two people. And we got comparative degree as well. The sentence are this movie is more exciting than the previous one. We can analyze it. Structure subject are subject plus verb plus more plus adjective plus then plus object. The meaning is the sentence compared two movies. And for superlative degree, the last one, sentence is English is the most interesting subject at my university. The structure are subject plus verb plus the most plus adjective. The meaning is the sentence shows that English has the highest level of interest among all subjects. And here's two example sentence of degree comparison that I have found from mass media. The example one sentence is China is now the world's second largest economy. The source is China's economy, publisher is BBC News, and here are the links. And we can analyze it. Degree is superlative, pattern or the second largest plus noun. The sentence compares China's economy with all other economies in the world and states that it ranked second. Therefore, it uses the superlative degree. And example number two, sentence is the new model is more efficient than its predecessor. The source are technology articles. The publisher is BBC News Technology, and here's a link. And we can analyze it too. For degree are comparative. The pattern is for plus adjective plus than, because the sentence compares two products, the new model and its predecessor. The adjective efficient is more than one syllable, so it becomes more efficient. And the second topic is correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are pairs of conjunctions that work together to connect two equivalent words, phrases, or clauses within a single sentence. These conjunctions cannot stand alone, they always appear in pairs. For instance, if you use either, it must be followed by or. Beyond connecting two ideas, the primary function of correlative conjunctions is to maintain a balanced sentence structure. Therefore, the elements from each part of the pair must share the same grammatical form. This concept is known as parallel structure. For the first one, we have both and. This conjunction is used to express that two things, people, or conditions operate simultaneously. It's important to note that the elements following both and must have the same grammatical form. For example, if both is followed by an adjective, then and must also be followed by an adjective. Examples of correlative conjunctions are number one, both the director and the producer gave the final script. Secondly, she is both confident and well spoken in front of an audience. And the second one is either or. Either or is used to express two possible choices of which only one is valid. This conjunction suggests that the speaker is offering or considering two possibilities at once. One important aspect of subject-verb agreement is that if two subjects are connected with either or, the verb adapts to the subject closest to it. For example, in either the students or the teacher is responsible, the verb is follows the teacher, which is closer in position. Example of correlative conjunctions are number two, you can either take the morning flight or the afternoon train. Number two, either you study harder or you will fail the final exam. And the third one is neither nor. This correlative conjunction is used to express that two things are not valid or true at the same time. This conjunction is a double negative. So the sentence using it don't need to include another negative word like not. Just like either or, the rules of subject-verb agreement also apply here. The verb follows the subject closest to the verb. The example of collective conjunction sentence are neither the same nor board members were aware of the issue. Second one, the new policy is neither practical nor fair for the employees. Number four, not only but also. This type of conjunction is used to emphasize two things at once, with a stronger emphasis on the second element, the part of the verb also. It is generally used when you want to make a statement more impressive or persuasive, both informing and informality. The example of a qualitative conjunction from not only but also are: number one, study not only improves your language skills but also broadens your perspective. Number two, you not only pass the exam but also got the highest score in class. And number five is whether or. This correlative conjunction is used to express the conditions or possibilities that both need to be considered, regardless of which ultimately occurs. Unlike either and, which is more of an active choice, whether or often appears in the context of unavoidable conditions or uncertain situations. This conjunction is also often used in indirect confessions to convey doubt or uncertainty. The example, whether the weather is good or bad, the event will push through as planned. I haven't decided yet whether to join the science club or the debate team. And the last one is as. This type of conjunction is used to compare two things that are considered equal or on the same level. The first element serves as the opening element of the comparison, while the second element follows the adjective or adverb use. In the negative pattern, as changes to not as to indicate that something is not equal to another thing. For example are: number one, the second semester exam was not as difficult as I had expected. The second semester exam was not as difficult as I had expected. Number two, she speaks English as fluently as a native speaker. She speaks English as fluently as a native speaker. And for original sentences from correlative conjunctions are: the sentence is, both my parents and my brother support my education. The subject are both plus noun plus and plus noun plus verb. The meaning is two subjects perform the same action. Number two, sentence is either Lucius or Alison will present the project tomorrow. The subject is either plus noun plus verb plus noun plus verb. Meaning is only one of the two people will present. Number three, the sentence is neither the manager nor the employees were absent. The subject is neither plus noun plus nor plus noun plus verb. The meaning is both subjects are negative. Number four, the sentence is not only does my lecturer explain the lesson clearly, but she also gives useful examples. Structure is not only plus auxiliary plus subject plus verb plus but also plus clause. The meaning is the sentence emphasizes two positive qualities. And here's two examples that I found from Masspedia. Example 1, sentence is, not only did the company increase production, but it also expanded into new markets. The source I found from Business News, publisher is Peters, and here the link. And we can analyze it. It's from not only but also. The function is it emphasizes that the company accomplished two important achievements. The pattern is not only plus auxiliary, plus subject, plus verb, but also plus clause. Example 2, the sentence is both governments and businesses are investing in artificial intelligence. The source is technology news, the reason is Reuters, and the name is we can analyze it. It forms both and. Function is adjoined to subjects with equal importance. Pattern is both like noun as and as noun as verb. Moving on to error analysis of paragraphs. We're here to detect a grammar error. And we're here to detect it on grammar error, which are number one is the student which won the competition is my friend. The correct form is the student who won the competition is my friend. Because the relative pronoun which is used for things or animals, not people. Since student refers to a person, the sentence must use who. And the grammar rule is use who to refer to people and which to refer to things. In these relative clauses that may also refer to people or things. Number one, the incorrect form is she met a professor whose book was published last year. The correct form is she met a professor whose book was published last year. Because the sentence expresses possession because the book belongs to the professor. Therefore, whose must be used instead of who. The grammar rule is use whose as a possessive relative pronoun to indicate ownership. Number 3 is the incorrect form. The library where it was renovated recently is very modern. The correct form. The library which was renovated recently is very modern. Because the clause describes the library as the object being renovated, not as the place where another action happened, therefore which is the correct relative pronoun. The grammar rule is use where only when referring to a place in which an action occurs. Use which or that when the noun functions as the subject or object of the relative clause. Number 4 is the incorrect form. I have a classmate who studies linguistics every day. The correct form. I have a classmate who studies linguistics every day. Because the subject is repeated. The relative noun who already replaces he, so using both creates redundancy. The grammar rule is do not use the personal pronoun after a relative pronoun when they refer to the same subject. Number 5 is the incorrect form. The laptop who I bought yesterday is already broken. The correct form is the laptop which I bought yesterday is already broken. Because who refers only to people. Since laptop is an object, the correct relative pronoun is which. The grammar rule is use which or that for objects and who for people. Number 6 is the incorrect form. The lecturer that she teaches syntax is very popular among students. The correct form. The lecturer who teaches syntax is very popular among students. Because the pronoun she is unnecessary because who already functions as the subject of the relative clause. The grammar rule is avoid double subjects in a relative clause that the pronoun already replaces the noun. Number 7 is the incorrect form. The building which we discussed about yesterday will be demolished soon. The correct form. The building which we discussed yesterday will be demolished soon. Because the verb discuss does not require the preposition above. The grammar rule is discuss is a transitive verb and should be followed directly by its object. And number 8 is a researcher whom article received and works at a famous university. The correct form is the researcher whose article received an award works at a famous university. Because the sentence shows possession because the article belongs to the researcher. Therefore, use should be used. The grammar rule is use to express possession in relative clauses. Number 9 is this is the campus that where I studied for 4 years. Correct one is this is the campus where I studied for 4 years. Because the sentence uses two relative markers, that and where, together only one is needed. The grammar rule is never combine two relative connectors in the same clause. The last one is the scholarship which it was offered by the government attracted many applicants. The correct form is the scholarship which was offered by the government attracted many applicants. Because the pronoun it is unnecessary because which already functions as the subject of the relative clause. The grammar rule is avoid redundant pronouns after a relative pronoun. And this is the correct paragraph. The student who won the competition is my friend. She met a professor whose book was published last year. The library, which was renovated recently, is very modern. I have a classmate who studies linguistics every day. The laptop which I bought yesterday is already broken. The lecturer who teaches syntax is very popular among students. The building which we discussed yesterday will be demolished soon. The researcher whose article received an award works at a famous university. This is the campus where I studied for 4 years. The scholarship which was offered by the government attracted many applicants. And for oral analysis of the degree of comparison, number 1 is the university is more large than the university in my hometown. The correct form is my university is larger than the university in my hometown. Because the adjective large is a one-syllable adjective, so it forms the comparative by adding or not by using more. Grammar rule is for most one-syllable adjectives form the comparative by adding large to larger. Number 2 is Sarah is the most smartest student. The correct form is Sarah is the smartest student. Because the sentence uses most and with ending together, creating a double superlative. Then the grammar rule is a superlative adjective should use either the most or is what never box together. Number 3 is the semester is more easier than the previous one. The correct form is the semester is easier than the previous one. Because the adjective easy already formed its comparative by changing y to I and ending in. Grammar rule adjectives ending in y form the comparative by changing y to I and adding in. Number 4 is the library is the quietest than the cafeteria. The correct form is the library is quieter than the cafeteria. Because the sentence compares only two places, so it requires the comparative form, not the superlative. The grammar rule is use the comparative degree or less than when comparing two people or two things. Number 5 is English is interesting than mathematics for many students. English and the correct form is English is more interesting than mathematics for many students. Because the adjective interesting is a long adjective and cannot take the or ending. The grammar rule is adjectives with two or more syllables generally form the comparative with more. Number 6 is my laptop is expensive than my friend's laptop. The correct form is my laptop is more expensive than my friend's laptop. Because expensive is a long adjective and should use more, not. The grammar rule is use more before adjectives with two or more syllables. Number 7 is John's presentation was more best. The correct form is John's presentation was the best. because the sentence combines more with the superlative adjective phase, which is incorrect. Grammar rule is best is already the superlative form of it, so it should not be preceded by more. Number 8. The new classroom is the more comfortable room in the building. The correct one is the new classroom is the most comfortable room in the building, because the sentence compares one classroom with all others in the building, so it requires the superlative form. The grammar rule is use the most with one adjective when comparing three or more people or things. Number 9 is traveling by train is more cheap than traveling by plane. The correct form is traveling by train is cheaper than traveling by plane. Because the adjective cheap is a short adjective, so its comparative form is cheaper. Grammar rule is short adjectives form the comparative by adding a. And the last one is today's weather is better than yesterday's weather. The correct one is today's weather is worse than yesterday's weather, because the adjective at has an irregular comparative form. And the grammar rule is irregular adjectives do not follow the normal or pattern, like bad to worse to worse, like good to better to best. And the correct paragraph from the grid of comparison is my university is larger than the university in my hometown. Among all students in my class, Sarah is the smartest student. This semester is easier than the previous one. The library is quieter than the cafeteria. English is more interesting than mathematics for many students. My laptop is more expensive than my friend's laptop. Of the three presentations, John's presentation was the best. The new classroom is the most comfortable room in the building. Traveling by train is cheaper than traveling by plane. Today's weather is worse than yesterday's weather. And for the last paragraph is correlative conjunction. Error number 1 is both the lecturer and the students were interested in the seminar. The correct one is both the lecturer and the students were interested in the seminar. Why is this incorrect? Both must always be paired with and, not or. Grammar rule, the correlative conjunction both and is used to connect two elements of equal importance. Number 2 is both the manager and the staff members are responsible for the project. The correct one is either the manager or the staff members are responsible for the project. Why is it incorrect? Either must be paired with or. Grammar rule, correlative conjunction is either or shows the choice between two possibilities. Number 3 is neither the teacher or the student will prepare for the presentation. The correct one is neither the teacher nor the students will prepare for the presentation. Why is this incorrect? There are two errors. Number 1 is neither should be paired with nor, but or. Number 2, the subject closest to the verb is students. Is proven. So the verb should be were, not was. The grammar is neither nor. The verb follows the possessive subject. Principle of proximity. And the number 4 is not only does the library provide digital resources and also offers study spaces. The correct one is not only does the library provide digital resources but also offers study spaces. Why is it incorrect? The not only there is but also not and also. Grammar rule, correlative conjunction not only but also is used to add equivalent information. And number 5 is the researcher is testing both in collecting data and analyzing the results. The correct one is the researcher is interested both in collecting data and analyzing the results. Why is it incorrect? Grammar forms must be parallel. Of the verb, both parts must have the same shape. The grammar rule is parallel structure. one collecting or is paying, analyzing, listening. No collecting or analyze. Number 6 is whether the meeting will be online and offline has not been decided yet. The correct one is whether the meeting will be online or offline has not been decided yet. Why is it incorrect? Whether is always paired with on. Grammar rule creative conjunction whether word is used to show two possibilities. Number 7 is no sooner had the lecture started than several students arrived late. The correct one is no sooner had the lecture started than several students arrived late. Why is it incorrect? The sooner pair is then, not when. Grammar rule is no sooner than. And number 8 is because they had I finished my assignment then the lecturer announced a new test. The correct one is because I had I finished my assignment when the lecturer announced a new test. Why is it incorrect? As closely pairing is one, not then. Grammar rules closely one. Number 9 is such was the difficulty of the exam that so many students fell in. The correct one is such was the difficulty of the exam that so many students fell in. Why is it incorrect? The sentence is actually grammatically correct. It's possible the lecturer intentionally inserted a correct sentence as the decoy. And the last one is whether the professor and also the assistant conducted the workshop. The correct one is rather than the assistant, the professor conducted the workshop. Or the professor rather than the assistant conducted the workshop. Why is this incorrect? The expression rather than cannot be separated into rather than also. The phrase must remain intact. The grammar rule is rather than is a fixed expression used to indicate preference or comparison. And this is the correct paragraph of corrective conjunctions. Both the lecturer and the students were interested in the seminar. Neither the manager nor the staff members are responsible for the project. Neither the teacher nor the students were prepared for the presentation. Not only does the library provide digital resources but also offers study spaces. The researcher is interested both in collecting data and analyzing the results. Whether the meeting will be online or offline has not been decided yet. No sooner had the lecture started than several students arrived late. Because they had I finished my assignment when the lecturer announced a new test. Such was the difficulty of the exam that so many students fell in. The professor, rather than the assistant, conducted the workshop. And that's my presentation for you all. Thank you for listening and pay attention to the presentation. Thank you. Bye.